dye-stained and that these are back in circulation. The centre is urging all businesses to be on the lookout and report any suspicious fraudulent transactions. Meanwhile, the SA Cane Growers Association says the unrest in KwaZulu-Natal has cost the industry 84 million rand. To shed more light on that matter, we are joined by the CEO of Cane Growers, Dr. Thomas Fonke. Dr. Fonke, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Just talk to us a little bit about the damage that we did see to the cane industry in the unrest that we saw last month rather.
Yeah, good afternoon. We saw a number of farms being attacked in arson attacks during the week of the unrest. A total of 554,000 tons were set alight of sugarcane, and due to the unrest, the mills were closed. So the farmers were facing a race against time, essentially, to try and deliver their crop. The mills reopened after the unrest, but not all of this cane has been processed, and our numbers are now coming in with regards to the total number of rejected tonnages, and they're in the region of 135,000 tons. And it's too late now. They can't be processed anymore, meaning that the growers are suffering a loss of around 84 million rand.
Yeah, I believe that as a result of the unrest as well, the quality of our cane is being questioned in many places as well.
That's correct, yeah. So during the unrest, cane should be delivered, or after burning, it should be delivered as soon as possible to a mill in order to be processed. And that's obviously difficult if you have arson attacks and unrest all over the place, attacking trucks as well. So generally an unsafe situation to try and get your cane into a mill. The mills were also under threat. Some of the mills had people marching on them, trying to penetrate the perimeter, but luckily this was averted with the swift action of SAPS and SANDF, as well as local communities and farmers protecting those assets. So, all in all, the cane has now deteriorated, and it has to be disposed of. Compost is probably the best way to do that. But that still means the growers are facing a huge financial burden, cash flow, especially some of the growers that haven't been affected by the unrest couldn't deliver their cane at all. So they don't know how they're going to pay their workers at month end. So knock-on effects coming through now, which is really concerning. And we're very hopeful that we can have some good discussions with the IDC and DTI, or DTIC rather, to try and come to a solution in this.
Yeah, ultimately the concern immediately that I have is jobs, which is going to be a big problem. And then there's the issues that are going to come further on down the line as we go down the supply chain. What are some of those concerns? Could we then possibly see consumers hit hard as well?
You're absolutely right with the jobs. I think there are some jobs at risk. Growers are also facing financial difficulty, so they might actually go out of business. We don't foresee any supply chain issues down the line, and the reason for that is that we haven't, as the industry, exported more sugar into the world market. So we are hopeful that there will be enough local stock to supply the demand in South Africa. That's also part of our sugarcane value chain master plan commitment. And as a result of that, hopefully we won't see prices skyrocketing, especially for sugar. So we're quite confident that we can supply the local market.
Yeah. Just quickly before I let you go, you mentioned that you do want some support from DTI and some of those departments within government. What do you want to see from them?
Yeah, the best would be grants for these growers that can help them out of this poverty trap, because a lot of the growers that were affected, almost a third of them were small-scale growers. So we're extremely concerned about their well-being. But also commercial growers were affected. So there are cash flow implications, and we are in discussions with IDC to try and see if some form of cash flow remedy can be put in place that they can repay at a later stage. So there are options on the table, and we actually now in the next few days going to discuss those. So hopefully we can come to some form of positive conclusion on that.
Well, we do really appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to us. That there is Dr. Thomas Fonke. He's the CEO of SA Cane Growers. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening on the Twitter streets now. We're going to see how you're reacting to the news that millions of rands were stolen.